All right, welcome to the show. I hope you guys are doing very well. Hand clap to you one more time. We got a lot to talk about today. I know you guys are noticing 60K test. I think that's really basically what we're looking at. This is what we're going to be approaching. So we're going to be talking a lot about that. We're going to be talking about what's causing it to as well. ETFs, outflow, big time. You have Mt. Gox ahead of schedule with the disbursements. You also, what is going on? What is it, Pure DGen? I think that's what it is. What's going on, brother? Again, it's all about the ETFs. It's all about institutional outflow. We'll get into what, Saylor did. I don't really want to buy into too much into that because he was paying dividends. But if that continues, will the strategies BTC stash be used to pay those dividends, or will they do something different? I don't know. It's pretty interesting. I want to get into the article about that because it kind of dives into what strategies is doing when it comes to selling Bitcoins to pay dividends. It's interesting. Mt. Gox, that's very interesting, ahead of schedule with the disbursements. And then the ETF outflow. We see some nice rotation going into altcoins and memes too. We had some particularly, I think, what is it? Particularly is what I'm trying to say. I got too much caffeine going today. SpaceX, that meme went crazy, 99,000% crazy mollywop when it comes to meme activity. But there's some altcoin rotation as well. So we'll get a look at the RSI. I'm not even going to look at the stock. I wanted to go buy stocks, but not buy them, but I wanted to look and kind of like correlate this. But the stock market is on its own island. It's not a good barometer. It doesn't reflect what's going on the ground. And it definitely doesn't. There's a decoupling factor that's going on with Bitcoin, stocks, the tech situation, because we see that divergence. It's pretty wide, but again, hand clap for you guys who are hanging in there. Portfolios is red. We got other news too as well, but there's some jobs numbers that we got to look forward to, unfortunately. That's going to affect Bitcoin buyership as well. So let's go ahead and get into the report, man. It's a very, very crazy market. So let's go ahead and start with Bitcoin. You guys already know $67,000. That's the big red slope. Can you guys see this? This is going to be the hour look in when it comes to this particular slalom effect. Let's go ahead and use a skiing, analogy. It literally looks like a slalom. Now, this right here started May the 20. Let's go ahead and say May the 31st. This is yesterday, right? A couple of days ago, essentially. And it's just been downward ever since. Now, you could factor in geopolitics. We may get into that. It's a little bearish, but there's a major geopolitic factor. That plays effect when it comes to the fear selling. Now, as far as institutions that are buying this deal, you still see the institutions that are doing this. I'm looking at it, but the ETF outflow, those redemptions since 2024, when it comes, I went way too far back. Since the inception of the Bitcoin ETFs, I think the redemption pattern is dramatic. It's a big time increasement. You had a institutional situation that happened just a couple of days ago that caused a $29 million penalty when it comes to the selling of ETFs. So I'm talking about the BlackRock situation. This particular institution, I don't know if it was an individual or anything. We're talking about $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. He took a $29 million hit penalty just to move that Bitcoin. So did he get some news about what's going on? The incoming flux of selling. There was some insider information there. It had to be for that guy to take a $29 million. Now a lot of that's peanuts when it comes to these institutions. When it comes to these $1 billion BTC back holders, these OGs, it's peanuts, right? They're going to take that hit just to get their money. But I got to tell you, that kind of started a wave of selling when it comes to the ETFs. Now, we're not even factoring in geopolitics, Mt. Gox, all the other, outflow as well with the private institutions, private buyers. Michael Saylor's selling of, I think it was around $2.5 million worth of BTC to pay dividends. There's a lot going on that is going to probably push Bitcoin to 60K. We'll just have to see if that actually happens. That is a psychological barrier that if broken, if breached, it's not going to be very good. Now, the rotation, is that going to be robust? This is the question. Will the rotation cause a lot of people to kind of scary and kind of like run to alts again for safe havens, run to the memes to make a little quick flip, right? Go into the NFT sector, because this is what you're seeing. We're going to get into the actual metrics of the rotation. But again, hand clap to you guys, because you're holding in. You guys are holding your red portfolios. Hopefully you're holding some good stuff you're DCAing, because this is a perfect time to actually DCA into something, that's good for you, that's infrastructurally, based, that's going to align to the crypto, language. We already have the Genius Act, which is getting some final rules at it. Clarity Act, once we get all this market structure language passed, hopefully you're investing in things that can fly, because I think post language, you're going to see a lot of sectors, especially RWAs, things of that nature, tokenized asset infrastructure, NFTs that are based, not only game based, but kind of like tethered to the RWA factor, because you're going to need that technology to place your homes in these tokenized marketplaces, these cars, anything tangible. It's going to go on that token standard, essentially. And there'll be other token standards as well. But that infrastructure matters, the Solana infrastructure, things like Monad that are new and fresh, that are built and tailored for the upcoming future when it comes to adoption. Hyperliquid, those type of projects, right? You have others too as well. There's so many I really don't have time to name right now. But again, you have with the Solana upgrade to the consensus, they're getting ready for post-language activity, post-language adoption, things of that nature. So it's really interesting where we're going. And we got to talk about Bitcoin, because this is the talk of the town. And I'm not even going to put his face up. Michael Saylor scared a lot of people with the sales, right? And we're selling for dividend payment. This is what's got everybody scared. Is this going to continue to escalate when it comes to the selling of Bitcoin within strategies to pay dividends? Welcome to the show, LMFG. What's going on, brother? The link is up top, just in case, if you said you're in the car. So whenever you get a chance, we'll be on for the next 45, because we got a lot to get into. So hopefully we can get your take, brother. Bitcoin, $67,000. I want to get into what I want to talk about. Bitcoin under siege, ETF outflow, Mount Gox drama. This is what we're going to kick it off with, because the core narrative, Bitcoin is feeling real pressure. All right. Fresh ETF redemption streak, plus the actual pressure of ahead of schedule Mount Gox, disbursements. We're talking about a lot of actual moolah when it comes to the Mount Gox disbursements. They're ahead of schedule. Why? This is the thing. Why is Mount Gox doing this so ahead of schedule? We'll get into that. We're going to get into this article. Key factors and bullet points I want to get into when it comes to Bitcoin's under siege, this whole monster here when it comes to it. We're roughly at 67,000. I think we're going to breach 66. We're probably going to hit 60K, barring anything that actually goes bonkers in the Middle East, because I think that's the major catalyst there. That's going to really, produce this downward trajectory when it comes to the Bitcoin price point, and everything is going to follow. Now, we talked about rotation. Where does this money go? Does it just get pulled out and consolidated into stable coins? Because we do see DeFi TVO that's took a dip to 3%, but that's because of a lot of exploits. That is because of a lot of actual fear within that infrastructure. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And we're talking TVO right now, but when it comes to Bitcoin, it's all about these ETFs, $483 million worth of net outflow. Okay. This was the most recent trading, metrics when it comes to BlackRock, IBIT. This is BlackRock alone. And I told you about the institutional investor that sold $1 billion worth of the ETFs, took a $29 million hit on that, tax on that, essentially, if you want to call that, just to move that. And he moved it a couple of days ago. So he knew something. That guy knew something. He pulled a lot of money out. That was BlackRock that took that hit. Now, this extends a streak. We're talking about 11-day streak of outflow. And it totals to around $3.45 billion worth of outflow. Now, I don't want to get conspiratorial. I'll hit the music here. I'm not trying to go there with this. But let me stop that. Because, it's not a conspiracy. This is happening not only to BlackRock, but other ETF vehicles as well. It's happening to ETH as well. The Ethereum situation is a totally different story. Let's just stick with the actual ETF outflow when it comes to Bitcoin. This is coupled with Mt. Gox, Michael Saylor, and other institutional lower level selling as well. And then you have your retail, your shrimps, your sharks. They're pitching in lots of sell pressure when it comes to Bitcoin. And this trickles down to the other altcoins as well. We'll do the countdown in a little bit. But there is an interesting mixed bag effect. That rotation is crazy because it's going right into alt. So you have an altcoin season meter that's right dead center. All right. Now we're not talking about all season. Let's not get crazy. We got to get to 70. That's that baseline for alt season, essentially, type of activity. We're not there yet, but it's in the middle. It's very interesting what's happening here because there's a slight rotation into the alts in memes. Solana's pumping again. So we'll get into this a little bit later. Now, the Mt. Gox situation, this is kind of like piling on to the situation. Now, it moved 10,000 BTC, 10.4K. All right, that was roughly just under $1 billion worth of BTC that was moved to new unmarked wallets for distribution. Now, this is the largest single transfer in months when it comes to Mt. Gox. 35,000 BTC still remains in this particular distribution block here when it comes to Mt. Gox. Now, a lot of you probably forgot about Mt. Gox. This is still happening. They actually did this ahead of schedule. Now, they have 35,000 BTC left for distribution, guys. Now, this is ahead of schedule, which is supposed to be October the 31st, 2026. That was the creditor's deadline. No exchange deposits and sales are actually confirmed yet, but this is prime. This has purged the actual pipes. It's going to happen. But the timing and added fuel, this is not good for what's going on with Bitcoin. And then you have the geopolitical effect as well. So this particular distribution of Bitcoin payments to the creditors, this is a case. If you don't know what I'm talking about, do your research on Mt. Gox distributions, because this is way ahead of schedule. We're in June. All right. This was supposed to happen in October. They're doing this now. So we have these institutional whales that are selling big bags, ETFs dumping, Michael Saylor selling to pay dividends, geopolitics on fire. This is a bad recipe. And when I tell you that Bitcoin is under siege, no joking. This is a really, really bad recipe. All right. For a disaster effect that could pretty much get us down to 50K, even before December. And then we have the jobs numbers. We'll get into that in a little bit. But this is a bad recipe for Bitcoin, guys. Now, additional pressure. We talked about micro strategies, if you will, selling 32 BTC, $2.5 million worth of sale. This is the first sale since 2022. So what in the hell is going on? You have all of this that is actually producing an under siege effect, an attack, a torpedo effect on the Bitcoin price point. On the TA as well, because a lot of people were saying 70K was going to be that solid test. Well, I think 60K is where we're going. All right. Now that's a psychological barrier that can produce 50K. And you add all this fuel, what I just told you, it's not looking good. All right. Now you can say I'm getting conspiratorial. I don't really think so. I really don't think so. But I digress from that. Top headlines when it comes to this, and then we'll get into the article because the Mt. Gox thing is really, I think we should be concerned about that. Okay. Bitcoin ETF outflow. That is the major noise. Wall Street doubles down on crypto. A lot of analysts are saying Wall Street is like, we don't care about the outflow. We're still going to buy. We're still going to build the infrastructure. We're still going to allow lots of investors that are kind of blocked out to access crypto. We're not scared. This is good news. But we're still going to see a major correction in this market, currently at 2.5 trillion, I think globally. I think we're probably going to get really close to 1.9 trillion before it's all over. Now, where we go from there, who knows? That's a 50K Bitcoin. Mt. Gox, we're going to talk about that, $730 million. That is almost $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. Way ahead of schedule. We're talking October 31st. What are we doing? What's going on? What's scaring Mt. Gox into putting this in the pipeline months before the deadline? We'll get into it. Will Bitcoin price, here's a question, will it fall below 65K? Will it hit 60, which is, I think, the new test? I think so, because this outflow when it comes to ETFs is crazy. It's crazy. So there's a lot of heavy chatter on X about this. A lot of people are saying liquidations, the derivative market is finna go bonkers as well. 73 to 74K is going to be, we're so below that. And then we saw those liquidations. So the consensus across the board is 60K, $60,000 test You can debate it all you want, but I think we're going there. So I want to get into this Mt. Gox situation because I think this is very interesting. So here we are. Let's get into this because this is where it is. This is what we need to be concerned about because this is way ahead of schedule. Is Mt. Gox selling $739 million worth of Bitcoin? This is a question. Obviously, yes. Now, Arkham Intelligence, this is where the data is coming from. Very reputable situation. Let's get into this actual article and we'll react to this because this is happening along with everything else. And this is something obviously that a lot of people are now baked into the cake because they forgot about it. Arkham Intelligence data, the defunct, I wouldn't say they're defunct. This is interesting how they started this. But let's get into this. The defunct exchange. Oh, I see what they're talking about. Because just in case you didn't know, Arkham did start an exchange. It didn't go too well. I think they didn't have to go there. That was a low blow. Well, let's get into it. The exchange showed the movement of 10,000 BTC, well over 10,000, 10.4K BTC validator. And this was a valued actual amount of 730 million. Let's go ahead and say, it's just shy of $1 billion. This is a big time disbursement. And they have 37,000 BTC left in the coffers for more disbursements, guys. This is going to be a slow bleed for a long time. Let's continue. They moved this from the cold wallet to the unmarked addresses identified. All right. They actually have the address, just in case you guys want to. I'll put a link in the actual description, just in case you want to do your research on this and follow this as well. This is around 4 o'clock, I think, just below 5 o'clock a.m. UTC time. This is on Tuesday, today, right? This happened today. During the same transaction batch, another 1.16.3 BTC was sent to Mt. Gox hot wallet as well. A lot of movement here with this particular bond, financial bond. A few hours later, blockchain records tracked by Arkham Intelligence, and there was a lot of other people tracking this as well, showed the estate transfer an additional 1.6.3 BTC to the same address as well. We're talking about that hot wallet, and sent a small Bitcoin amount to a cold wallet of $1. So this is what's going on now. Despite the size of the transfers, Arkham Intelligence data indicated that the actual receiving wallet is not associated with the unknown or the known centralized or decentralized exchange. I think we're talking bits down. The analytics performed or platform currently labeled the transfer as Bitcoin as unspent. So they're just kind of like sitting and smoldering there, but we know what they're doing, leaving the purpose of the movement unclear. So we know what they're doing. We know the agenda. We know the deadline was October, but a lot of this, that is a lot of Bitcoin to be shuffling around. They're going into destinations where normally these are going to be these unmarked wallets of the creditors, essentially. And this is the disbursement path that we've seen before. So we know what's going on. We know what's happening here. Bitcoin is about to be distributed. Now, what happens? Do the actual recipients, do they actually sell? I mean, Bitcoin is diving right now. That literally produces fear, right? You don't want to lose value. So if you've been waiting on your Mt. Gox disbursements, right? You've been waiting for a long time, by the way. These people have been waiting for years. Now, a lot of these wallets that this BTC is being sent to are lost. I read about this. A lot of the wallets that they're sending this money to, this beautiful Bitcoin, these are lost wallets. Now, will quantum computing recover this? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Now, here's another sub-headline. No exchange destination eases immediate selling concerns. So a lot of people are like, okay. So these are just decentralized wallets, right? These are, non-custodials. These are wallets held by individuals, private individuals, or private wallets, however you want to say it. No concerns here. I wouldn't quite go there because we've seen this before. Now, because the destination address is not linked to trading venues like Coinbase or things, Binance or things of that nature, the transactions do not provide direct evidence that Mt. Gox is preparing to sell Bitcoin. This is what they're saying. Market observers have often watched large Mt. Gox wallets move closely because previous transfers have preceded creditors' distributions. So again, like I told you, this is how they've done it before. The movement dictates. The movement is exactly how it was before they distributed, the actual Bitcoin. Now, a lot of this Bitcoin wasn't sold. It was converted, it's generating yield. Will this continue to happen? Because we're going into a situation to where Before, there was no war. There was no Iran conflict. There was no unstable geopolitics. There was no oil shortages that we're about to see in June and July. Will this cause a lot of these distributions to be actually liquidated by the recipients? The dynamics are so different right now. This round, I don't know, guys. Now, for now, the wallet that was compiled, that Arkham is watching, still controls 30. We're talking Mt. Gox wallet, the general, wallet that is meant for distributions. 34,000 Bitcoin. $2.43 billion. All right. This is following these Tuesday transactions. So they have a lot of Bitcoin to distribute. Now, interest in the Mt. Gox claims have also attracted institutional attention. Yeah, absolutely. A previously reported article by Crypto.news, Strive Asset Management, this is the one that's really troubled about this, plans to build a Bitcoin treasury up to around 75,000 BTC. That's about $8 billion, guys. Now, through purchases of approved but undistributed Mt. Gox claims, which the firm estimates to be worth $8 billion. So again, there's a lot of this money that is unclaimed because a lot of these, I don't know if these people are passed away or these wallets are lost, like I told you guys, but $8 billion worth of these disbursements, they're unclaimed. So this particular outfit, this particular asset manager is wanting to buy all of this and set up a Bitcoin treasury of 75,000 BTC. This is crazy, but this is what's happening. This is interesting. And this is why a lot of the actual ETF managers, you have a lot of institutions that are paying attention to this. Man, I had to sneeze. Excuse me. So let me get back on track here. This is why the attention is being paid to Mt. Gox, because not only the recipients, they're going to sell this Bitcoin, but you have major institutions that are watchdogging the unclaimed Bitcoin. This particular one wants all of it, $8 billion worth of it. I don't know, guys. This is crazy what's going on with Mt. Gox, because you have these disbursements, right? These distributions, they're going to be sold in this particular climate. You have unclaimed Bitcoin that is just sitting to the tune of $8 billion. They don't even know what to do with. And then you have these asset managers that are like, you know what? We can take this off your hands. We want to start a treasury. I don't know if I trust that, because the way the climate is, a lot of these asset managers, they may just sell all this Bitcoin just to protect their assets, just to protect the platform, just to protect the customers, because a lot of these are asset managers. These asset managers are attached to a lot of private investors, a lot of people across the board. This is a recipe for a disaster. Now, under that scenario, some creditors could sell claims to buyers. You saw that with Cryptopia, the exchange that went under years ago. A lot of people bought people's disbursements and claims. I don't know if they paid equal amount or people just wanted to settle like annuities. They just want their money. They don't want to wait years. They want money now. So I think when it comes to this, it's a very interesting dynamic here. Will Mt. Gox, will they actually go for this? Will they sell these claims? Will they just give this Bitcoin to these asset managers? Will they be truthful and actually set up a Bitcoin treasury? It's to be determined. We haven't got there, but these are very different dynamics here that we have here, because there's a lot of fear with the geopolitics, with the war, with the oil shortages, with the buyership, with what's going on with the economy, globally. Things are very interesting right now. Now, just to wrap this up, Mt. Gox began repaying creditors on July 2024 through partners exchanges like Kraken, Bitstamp. However, the rehabilitation process remains unfinished, to the tune of well over $8 billion worth of Bitcoin. 2.4 that is being moved roughly within the last couple of years. Last year's rehabilitation trustees extended the repayment deadline to October the 31st. That was what we were told. They're actually moving money now, way ahead of schedule. All right. So, it is what it is. I want to kind of go into this because this is actually causing a lot of fear, not only with retail, not only with the middle institution buyers and the rich guys, the rich private buyers, but ETF asset managers as well, institutions as well. They're watching this very closely. And a lot of them want to buy up a lot of this Bitcoin because a lot of it is unclaimed and a lot of it is going to wallets that are dead. There's black holes. It's a mess. It's a big time mess. So and I just wanted to talk about that. Let's go ahead and get back into the top 25 here. As we move back to Bitcoin, I have to tell you, very interesting dynamic here when it comes to Bitcoin. I want to get back to the top 10. Let's look at some of these altcoins, and then we'll get into this rotation because we have a 50. Let's go ahead and round it up to 50 altcoin season meter. This is where it is. It's in the middle. We're not really talking about all season right now. Don't get too crazy with it, but we did move into the right direction, and this is great. I guess it deserves a hand clap because this is what people are wanting to see. Let's go ahead and hand clap that. I don't think it's even working. Hold on just a sec here. I want to get a proper hand clap for that. Let's get this going. There we go. Having some issues with my technology today. So RSI, we'll get a good look at that too as well, because you can clearly see the rotation. The fear and greed meter is actually moving up towards not great territory, but you do see some easing in the fear because people are they're just, we can't do anything about this. There are so many factors when it comes to Bitcoin's price, and we just can't do anything but actually either hold, sell out of fear, or DCA into the good stuff. Get more of what you know that's going to pop post language. That's what I'm doing. Or consolidate and get some yield. That's what I'm doing. But I'm definitely not running from this market because post language is going to fly. Now you're looking at Ethereum, $1,900. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to Ethereum. That security narrative needs to really pick up. They've lost 8 core researchers or devs, I believe. So there's a major shakeup when it comes to Ethereum. BNB, $665. Big time spike because of the ETF. I don't know if you know that they had an ETF. This is what pumped BNB. You're seeing a pretty decent correction. It almost got up to $800, but this is what the ETF vehicle is going to do for a lot of altcoins post language, because there's a trickle effect when it comes to these ETFs right now. But post language, you're going to see a lot of baskets, guys. They're going to have Solana, Tron, Hyperliquid, Doge, Zcash. All of the altcoins that you love, all of the blockchain coins that you love so much, they're going to be ETFs within a 3-year period. They're going to be involved in ETF baskets, and they're going to be stakeable in these particular ETF baskets. That's going to allow altcoins to go to different realms of prosperity when it comes to price points. New ATHs, especially if the infrastructure is ripe for growth and it's being leveraged, i.e. Chainlink in the AWS situation. The way Solana is updating the consensus and just basically overhauling the actual mechanism, making it conducive for growth when it comes to RWAs, tokenized stocks, things of that nature, payments. This is what Solana's doing. Solana's going to fly. If you take a snapshot right now, a lot of you are like, I need to sell it. These things are happening because of what I was just talking about with the Bitcoin situation, geopolitics, politics. You have midterms coming up. You have these in and outs when it comes to these ETFs. It's a stain on the space right now. Okay. The crypto agenda is not moving like we thought it was going to move because of it's literally on the back burner. Bitcoin is the talk of the town because of the ETF, notion. But if it wasn't for the ETFs, Bitcoin would probably be at $50,000, probably below that, $49,000. So the ETF narrative, the institutional narrative, the language narrative when it comes to crypto, Clarity Act, we got the Genius Act, the stablecoin movement, the movement from paper to digital. You have some interesting things going on in payments with MoneyGram. They've established their own stablecoin. Stablecoin activity is crazy right now. Okay. That particular narrative, that compiled narrative is basically your floor for Bitcoin. But the altcoin situation, the rotation that we've seen in the past week must be discussed. And we're going to talk about this because there's some meme activity that's popping too as well. I told you about the SpaceX meme, Near Protocol, Hyperliquid. All of these altcoins are actually receiving funds. They're actually, I'm not going to say they're usurping, but there's a vacuum here. And there's a clear rotation into alts and memes right now, NFTs as well. And it's interesting. But the BNB thing, the Binance coin thing, that was all ETFs. And I'll show you guys this pump. Let's go and look at this chart because when you look at this chart, And we're talking the last week of May. You can clearly see, and I'll zoom in here, you can clearly see this uphill, this trajectory from the 29th all the way up into the 31st, right? This is a pretty decent run, right? A couple of days. It was all ETFs. And this is what ETFs do to price points. Now, obviously, the bearish cloud over crypto, over stocks, geopolitics, this is going to cause people to basically take profit, okay? This is an excellent time for a lot of people to take profit. When you see a pump like this of this nature, most people are going to take profit. And this is what you saw with this. This is why you didn't get back to $1,000, right? With BNB. Because this is profit taking. A lot of fear here. You can clearly see it on the chart when it eclipsed $740. And this is all ETF hoopla. This is a bunch of ETF magic that you saw here. Now, you're going to see this a lot with other alts. Post language, you're not going to see such a sell-off because there's going to be FOMO. There's going to be a lot of, green sentiment. Everybody's going to be happy about passage, about Trump signing the, crypto laws into law. And then 5 years down the road, this market is globally is going to be around 10 trillion. You're going to see robust trajectory upward. But it's so bearish right now. These micro pumps are going to get annihilated. Just like you see here. Just like you see here. This is a very decent inflow, but it was completely catastrophically annihilated by not only fear, but you have profit taking as well. Because you still have people who bought at $200 BNB. This is shortly after, during the CZ kerfuffle, when he was ousted, if you know, you know. And it almost went down to $199 a coin. A lot of people bought that dip. And they took profit when it hit up at $1,100. You had a little slight bump here as well, almost back up to $900. So you're going to see this continue throughout the year, especially if everything goes completely ape shit in the Middle East once again. And it kind of looks like that's where we're headed. So XRP, $1.24. This thing is really trying to keep it up above $1 XRP. You have some interesting dynamics there as well. Very convoluted message if you really are keeping track of what's going on with XRP. A lot of people are confused. What are we really doing? Ripple is doing great, but XRP is struggling. What's happening? That's a whole nother video. But it is currently sitting at $1.24. I'm still very bullish on XRP. Post language. I'm bullish on a lot of things post language. Solana, $76. It is down way below $80, right? And we don't like this. A lot of you don't like this, but post upgrade, post language, Solana's going to fly because they've made some major upgrades to this particular chain. That's going to put it right in line with the actual RWA movement, tokenized stock movement, payments, everything that's coming when it comes to brick and mortar, merging with blockchain tech. They're ready for it. They're getting ready for it, especially when it comes to that validator stack. Big time upgrade there. And I know the validators are going to love that. Tron, 33 cents. You have Hyperliquid doing some amazing things. Hyperliquid buyback and burn mechanics are supreme. But not only that, the platform is actually prosperous. Hyperliquid made a lot of money last year. Tons of money. This perp exchange is the creme de la creme. You have Astra as well, but some say Astra is an actual scam. I'm not the one to like label it a scam, but it can't compete with this. It cannot compete with this. Now, this was sitting at roughly $49, a month ago. So we did see a robust trajectory upward. And a lot of this is due to what's going on infrastructurally. What's going on with the coin as well. Very, very good tokenomics as well. Good buyback and burn mechanism. Perp Exchange is doing great. Tokenized everything. Everything is going to be tokenized on this particular situation going forward. This platform is doing great. It is currently number 9, $72. I think this is a shining star along with XLM. We'll get to XLM here in a little bit. Dogecoin, 9 cents. Zcash, trying to get back up to $700. There's a resurgence in this particular situation. I don't know if you guys remember the dev team collapsed. Everybody was laughing at Zcash. It got down to $200 again. Look at what's going on here. Up almost 20% within a 24-hour period. So this resurgence is, I'm still looking into this, but this resurgence in this OG privacy protocol is very interesting to me because this is the focus going forward. Privacy, not only with RWAs and tokenized assets, but privacy as a whole when it comes to DeFi infrastructure. Security as well, because there's been some major exploits. We'll get to that. But the Zcash resurgence is very interesting. There is no influencing here. This is just organic resurgence, which is great. I want to hand clap that. I like the organic movement. This is why you see it kind of maintaining this 600 flat line, right? This consolidation effort at $600 because it is OG. And it is what people want, privacy, right? Pretty decent wallet tech too as well. You have Leo at $10 up across the board too as well. Cardano, I want to talk a little bit more about this, but I'll save that for a standalone video because there's some interesting things going on with interesting developments with ADA and Midnight, which is a privacy protocol. I think Hoskinson's got that right because that's where we're going. That's where we're going. I think ETH needs to get that right as well, or they're going to have issues. XLM 22 cents up. The 7-day period, the 7-day influx in XLM was crazy, but we understand what's going on here. Adoption. The protocols are these type of protocols are going to be adopted profusely going forward, especially post language, because you're going to need, situations and protocols like XLM. Huge spike in price. This thing almost went back up to 30 cents. Now, as far as Stellar, I was told over the week, maybe $5. I don't know about that. Maybe 5 years from now, I don't know about that. It has to be majorly adopted, but I think it could get to $2 easily post language, but up currently 51%. Now, here's the bearish block is what I like to say. Now, Monero, I expect the Monero to be up there with Zcash. It is not. Looking into that. Chainlink dipped below $9, which is kind of interesting to me, but I'm still bullish on Chainlink, right? Across the board, 8% down, 7-day period. The 4% 24-hour interval is kind of interesting. Very interesting to me. Need to look into that a little bit more too as well. XMR, $300. Canton, down across the board, 15 cents. I think that's a great buy when it comes to Canton and what's going on there. Essentially, Bitcoin Cash, $284. Tonecoin is up briefly, but again, there's some good news with Tonecoin too as well. Too much to get into right now, but do your research on Tone. I think going into the next 5 years, that thing can balloon up to $15 per coin because there's a lot there. World Liberty Finance, USD1 going to skip right over that because I don't even think that's going to survive the actual language. And I'm not even going to get into it, but there's a lot of things when it comes to ethics that may desaddle World Liberty Financial. But I digress from that. Hedera is sitting at 8 cents up just a little bit across the board. Litecoin, $48. And AVAX, we'll stop at AVAX and near $8 for AVAX. I still think AVAX is good. It took a sharp dive, but everything is diving. Not everything, but the majority of the top 25, not looking too good for investors. Portfolios are red. And we'll just cut it. We'll clip it with Near Protocol, which this particular infrastructure is beaming right now. And I'm talking the Near ecosystem, as well as Solana, beaming with activity at this point in time. So this is one to actually put in your wish list, watch list. I'm sorry, you have a market cap currently at $3.3 billion. So it's up there. It's not very appetizing for a lot of investors, but long term, this is one that I would definitely put in the watch list because the ecosystem is where it's at. The actual foundation of these particular protocols, if there is activity, if there are adoptable, that's what produces movement upward when it comes to price, and it makes it worth investing in. All right, so currently Sui is majorly dropping. I don't know what the hell happened to Sui. Down currently almost 20% within the 7-day period. 5% 24-hour interval is dreadful. We are under $1. What the hell happened to Sui? This is not a good trajectory. This is probably one of the worst ones that I've seen across the board. And again, everybody's taking a hit, but this one is pretty crazy with Sui chain. But hand clap the resilience for the ones that are being resilient. We definitely got to get into a little bit more. So I want to look at the actual technicals. I got to get into the RSI, guys, because we talked about this particular map. We talk about this a lot, and I seen a stagnant movement. I'm not seeing that anymore. I'm seeing a lot of people buying crypto right now. That rotation is crazy. And we were in oversold territory early this morning. So it's kind of balancing out. You're seeing people that the buying of the dip is starting to level out. And you're seeing oversold territory that's taking over. Now people are selling. but we're moving towards an equilibrium. We're kind of getting towards the middle to where everything is tapering off. I don't think we're going to get into overbought territory until Bitcoin levelizes and starts to move up. But I got to tell you, the selling is crazy. The selling is massively crazy. Now, when you talk about altcoins, the altcoin meter, right? I don't want to even look at that because people, I have to tell you, we're not going to see an alt season. I've already saw this on X. Everybody's claiming alt season is back. Not everybody, but I'm saying this. It's not happening this year. We will see rotation into memes, and we're going to talk about that because that's pretty robust right now. We're going to see some altcoin rotation as well. That's pretty robust. But I want to get into this narrative because the alt meme madness is what is being tagged. I don't think it's a pump environment, but I think people are just trying to make some money right now because Bitcoin is scaring the crap out of everybody. Now, core narrative when it comes to this next topic, will BTC cool to the point to where capital is rotating hard into alts and memes? As we look at the RSI, it's kind of looking that way. Now, the speculation, I wouldn't say is back, but as far as the Solana ecosystem plays, that is starting to get to where we saw it, right? You know, I'm not talking about peak pump.fun, but it moved up. It's more active now. Okay, now here's some key factors and numbers I want you guys to pay attention to when it comes to this altcoin and meme rotation. Okay, Lab is up 43%. Humanity Protocol up 20%. Meme Core is up 12%. Near 11%, and Stellar up 9%. Now you have a mixture of alts and memes here. The meme sector, you have Doge, SHIB, Peppa, those type of things, right? Pepe still dominant when it comes to market cap, but fresh gainers are useless, up 33%. Buttcoin, I don't even know what Buttcoin is, but it is up 30%. Wojak is even popping. So even the OG memes are starting to really move here. That rotation is kind of interesting to me, but it's a mixed bag. Overall, 2.35 trillion globally. Okay, that's down by 3% actually. So we got a correction there with this rotation. But within a 24-hour period, you're talking about $110 billion worth of rotation. Okay, and it went to the alts and the memes. So what are we dealing with here? This is the question. Is it safe to go all in? No, I don't think so. It's fear-based. We looked at the meter. It was like a 27. So people just, you know, I wouldn't find a safe haven in some of these memes. Some of the alts, possibly, right? But the people are searching, not institutions. I'm just saying, you know, retail is searching. They're running, right? They're going to the memes. They're going to alts, trying to find safe havens here because a lot of people know the 60K test, it's real and it's happening. I think it's going to happen. No question about that. But overall, that $110 billion worth of rotation energy that just left the blue chip market is going into alts and memes. And you can see it in the actual altcoin meter. It's in the middle. It was not in the middle 3 weeks ago. So I don't want to jump up and down and say we're into off-season territory because we're not, but it is promising to see this particular rotation. And it's not exiting the market. It's actually being rotated into other sectors like alts and memes and NFTs. So that's interesting. And I got to hand clap that. We don't want it to leave the market. We don't want it to leave the market. We want it to stay, but we want new money as well because this old circle jerk is like what they call it. Like I like to call it. I'm sorry. This is not going to propel us into prosperity. We need new money as well. So. You know, meme speculation, is it returning? Solana tokens, are they going to have a resurgence? I'm not going to go as far as to say that, but you do see a clear rotation into alts and memes right now to the tune of over $110 billion. It's legitimate. It's extremely legitimate. And I didn't want to bring this up. I didn't want to show this because I'm not going to say it's fictitious, but you know, it is what it is. And I'll just put it up here. It's 51. It's actually moving. The altcoin season index is actually moving in the right direction. But don't get too happy because this could actually be reversed at any given time. But top performing within the last 90 days is crazy. It's a freaking meme. It's almost 1,000% up at this point in time. But then you have the mixture of altcoins as well. If you go all the way down this graph, there's alts and memes with the memes up top. So it's interesting. My bet is on the latter. I'm an altcoin infrastructure. I like the altcoins that are tethered to infrastructure. We do see that movement. As long as the money doesn't leave the market entirely, I'm good. I'm totally good with this particular rotation. So I just want to, get into that briefly. Now, I want to get into this particular situation right here because this is what's scaring a lot of people as well. So, Mr. Saylor, we got to get into this. This guy right here, the man, all right, very synonymous for holding a lot of this Bitcoin. Okay, let's get into what he's doing because I want to get into this article and what strategies is actually doing. Now, the headline for Mr. Saylor and his outfit, 32 BTC was sold to pay dividends, but the real risk is what happens if it has to sell more Bitcoin. This is a question. Will this turn into not only 32, but 100 BTC? Will it turn into 1,000 BTC? Will it turn into 10,000 BTC to pay the dividends? This is a question. Is it a test just to see how the market and how individuals react to you remember the actual, sentence that we got? We will never sell Bitcoin. This is what he said. We will never sell Bitcoin. Well, this actually happened. I want to get into this just a little bit. Strategy's first Bitcoin sale nearly after 4 years of saying they were not going to sell shows how its treasury could become a funding source for the credit product built around it. That should send chills around every Bitcoiner's minds. It should shift their mindset just a bit. Bitcoin's price hit 70K and it's below 70K at this point in time. Let's get into this. It's a very interesting article here. After Strategy's world largest publicly traded corporate holder of the top crypto sold a portion of the BTC treasury for the first time since 2022. We were told they were never going to do that. I knew it was a lie. I don't think anybody believed that, but I digress. Now, data from Crypto Slate show that the BTC price dropped 4% after this particular sale, and it was tiny compared to what we're seeing, globally and institutionally, and with the ETFs to the tune of 3.4B billion within an 11-day period. This still dropped the price along with a lot of fear selling as well, 4% on the news, just on the news, not even the sell. Went to $69,000. So if you don't think this guy has a heavy hand to play on the movement of Bitcoin's price, think again. Just the actual headline of this dropped Bitcoin 4%. That was even before he sold at 32 BTC. This is what bothers me about strategy. Just the notion, just the energy of selling. Not even the sell, but just the energy that's put forth. Creates these drops in Bitcoin. Crazy. That is some crazy power to have over one of the most finest assets, digital assets across the world. This is not good. I don't like it, but I digress. That's just my opinion. Now, it recovered to 70K, but it's still down. The recovery was very, very short and slim. And I think a lot of that has to do with geopolitics as well. This is the lowest price level in 6 weeks. Now, the price movement, as we continue with the article, came as Strategies revealed on June the 1st that it sold 32 Bitcoin between May 26th and the 31st, which is just a week ago. The sale generated roughly $2.5 million at an average execution price of $77,000. Now, it gets even better. The digital asset sale represents a microscopic 0.0038% of its total holdings against total corporate stockpile of around 843,000 BTC, acquired at an average price of $75,000. They bought at the top a lot, but they didn't care, right? These particular, buyers are just peanuts. But the sales aren't. They affect the market, even just the notion of it before the sale even went through. Now, market observers quickly highlighted the significance of Strategy's decision to sell as a formal departure from the founders and Michael Saylor's longstanding doctrine of absolute retention. We're never going to sell. Here's a quote here. This is Jim Cramer that actually chimed in here. Very interesting. Quote, Strategies Micro sells Bitcoin, $2.5 million worth, may have reevaluated pro-Bitcoin stance given how much Strategy has propped up the actual asset. Key trampoline for years. This is what he's saying, Strategies has been, and he's right. Some say manipulation. I think that's too strong, unquote. So Very convoluted message from or a quote from Jim Cramer. Strategies is a trampoline. I do believe that. Some say it's manipulation. There's a lot of manipulation going on, and not only in crypto, but in stocks as well. But we're talking about a major asset, Bitcoin. That strategies, basically, they have it in a chokehold along with BlackRock. And they just scared the shit out of everybody with this sell, even before it went through. You couple that with $3.5 trillion, $1 billion worth of outflow, ETFs, BlackRock, and others as well. But BlackRock is the largest, right? They have private issues, private credit issues too, that they may have to sell. Listen, I can really make this really bearish. I'm not going to go there. But this particular strategy situation, I think it's going to go from 35 BTC probably up to 100, maybe even 1,000 BTC to pay these dividends going forward. They're going to continue to do this. This was a test to see how the market reacted to it, and it wasn't good. 4% drop in Bitcoin price before they even ran the sell through. Just the news of it. So what happens when they come out and say, guys, we sold 100 BTC to pay dividends? Oh, by the way, we just sold 1,000 BTC to pay dividends. How realistic is this going forward when it comes to Bitcoin maintaining its steam, essentially? The trust in strategies to hold. This is not good. This is not good. I don't care how you strike it or whatever. A little bit more, and then we'll move on to how I think the jobs numbers. This is an article about jobs, and the job numbers it's going to be bad. People are losing their jobs. It's even worse than what we got from Jerome Powell, which he was fudging the numbers. But I digress from that. Let's continue here. According to the filing, strategy said that it will sell its BTC holdings to fund distributions on preferred stock, unquote. So there's no question they're going to continue to sell Bitcoin after they told us they would not. And it's to fund distributions and on the preferred stock. Over the past year, Strategies has introduced several publicly traded perpetual preferred stocks, including START, Strategies C, Strategies F, and Strategies D, to provide fixed income returns alongside its Bitcoin treasury operation. They are selling their own fucking Bitcoin to pay these dividends. Please make this make sense to me. Is this good? I don't think it's good. The most popular of them is going to be Strategy C, which is a perpetual preferred stock introduced in July 2025 under the nickname Stretch. In recent months, security has been central to Saylor's efforts to turn the company's Bitcoin holdings from a passive reserve into a financial platform that can attract investors seeking yield rather than direct exposure to the token. Saylor has said Strategies wants Stretch is what its nickname, which is the most popular one, preferred stock here, to become one of the leading credit instruments in the global markets. A global market or a global situation that depends on keeping the product stable enough to function more like an income vehicle rather than a volatile crypto-linked equity. Stretch pays monthly cash distributions, which they've sold Bitcoin to actually fulfill, and currently carries an annualized dividend rate of around 11.5%. That's pretty decent. But again, they're selling their Bitcoin to basically provide this payout. A level strategy has held for 4 consecutive months. The rate is reviewed monthly and can be adjusted to help keep the shares trading close to around $100 per value. This is crazy, man. This is lunacy. The price anchor is important to the company's broader funding strategy. When Stretch remains near par, Strategies can issue additional shares through its and at the market program on more favorable terms, thereby raising capital to buy more Bitcoin, meet dividend obligations, and manage liabilities. The product, however, has shown some strain recently. This is what happens when your model fails. Stretch has not traded at par since mid-May and falls below or well below the $97 last week, right? It's got to be above 100. It recovered to 99, but it's still at 99. It's below 99 now. The product has funded the purchase of more than 122,000 BTC. It's going in the other direction now. So it's not working the way it should, is what I'm saying. So they're having to go into the stash, into their treasury to actually, honor these payouts. because the model's not working. So they're falling back on the actual Bitcoin treasury, the 800,000 plus Bitcoin that they've actually compiled. They're selling that, guys. They're selling that to pay these dividends for this ridiculous situation that they've concocted here. I don't know about you, but this worries me. Along with the Mt. Gox situation, along with the ETF vehicles that are bleeding, retail's leaving, rotation into alts and memes. Bitcoin is bleeding profusely right now. So where does this go? It's to be determined how far this goes with strategies. Do they go from 32 BTC to 100 BTC next time? Will the model completely collapse and they have to use the actual treasury, their compiled Bitcoin, to actually pay these dividends for the foreseeable future? It is to be determined. I'm going to be watching this because this is one of the things that I think we should all watch. This guy right here, because his influence he's a trampoline for Bitcoin. Strategies is. Now, BlackRock, the outflow is crazy right now. But this situation is very, very scary when it comes to the price, because when Bitcoin falls, everything else falls with it. This is the bad thing about it. It's a double-edged sword here. When it goes up, it's beautiful. Everybody's smiling. Everybody's tweeting. Everybody's having fun, popping popcorn and shit, drinking. Everything is good. But when it falls, everything falls. DeFi dips. And then you factor in the exploits that happen with these cross bridges, cross-chain mechanisms to the tune of $5 million recently. We have issues, ladies and gentlemen. We have issues big time. This is going to affect adoption. So we need to definitely fix DeFi's exploit situation. We definitely need to figure out what's going on with this MicroStrategy thing, because I think this is going to balloon up to way more than 32 per hit. They're just testing the market to see how everybody reacts to this, because this is going to be the model going forward, because the actual principal model of paying these dividends has collapsed. It has failed. So they got to go into the stats. They got to go into the piggy bank to honor these payouts. That's not good. So we'll see how far this goes. We'll see how far this goes. Let's go ahead and get back to this. Currently still at $67,000. You see what's going on with Bitcoin. You see the slalom effect here. You see the deep dive. Not a lot of recovery that is going on here. Not a lot of buying the dip. That has subsided. So where does this go? That's the question. Now, I want to get into some regulatory jargon here before we close the show and before we get into the member giveaway, because we will be doing a giveaway today. We do it every time we do this live stream, but you have to be a member to qualify for that giveaway, that cash giveaway. So be sure to get you a membership so you can get on the wheel and get access to the member content as well. We drop content as well. Last topic is going to be regulatory green in this DeFi situation that has hit the market. And we'll pull out here as we talk about this, because I want to actually pull up. I wonder if I can actually pull this up. I don't think I can actually access this here. So we'll just keep it. We'll just keep it here. Actually, we'll go to DeFi Llama, because this is relevant. It's a relevant hit here. Currently down. TVO across the board down 3%, and it was roughly because of these exploits. Magnificent exploits when it comes to bridges. And my buddy LMFG, he was talking about the bridge effect. And by the way, I just noticed that you were back there, brother. Let me get you in here, man. I just noticed. How are you doing today, brother? Are you with us?
Yeah, I'm rocking and rolling.
Man, how long have you been there?
I just got back here like 5 minutes ago.
Okay, man. Yeah, I was feeling bad about it. I was like, I'm running my mouth, and I'm like, LMFG's been back there backstage the whole damn time. Welcome to the show, bro. I don't know how much you caught, bro, but I guess it's a good time to pause before we get into the last segment here. What's your take so far on what we've been talking about?
Yeah, and we've been just saying this for a while, and here it is, right? Where are we at? 67?
Yeah.
Is 60?
Yeah, we breached the test, so we're definitely below the test.
But then I seen a lot of good things too, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess everybody's going nuts over Luna C.
Yeah,
Bitcoin just burnt another 2.1 billion of them, and they're
yeah.
going to do that every month of the fees. So I don't know who's doing all that traffic, but I laugh if that comes back.
Well, I was talking about that rotation earlier, and Lunacy is part of that rotation. We're talking to
Right,
well over $100 billion, bro. Going back into alts and memes, crazy.
right. And then tons of Ondo getting torn off of all the exchanges.
Yeah,
So that's getting put on the side. You see that coming up again. And then we know with XLM and Hyper, I just seen a big signing on them. So a lot of things happening. And it's just this crashing is, I don't know, it's just all the bullshit, I guess.
it's a mixed bag. Yeah,
And it's going to come out that Clarity Act ain't getting through. So that's where I think we can see even another, like you said, maybe 60 grand here. And I hope that Sailor doesn't go nuts.
Oh, did you catch that segment? What do you think about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, but he just got rid of a little bit of this stuff, and that took a dip because of that.
4%. Yeah.
Because everybody thinks he's been saying it all these years. I'll never sell. I'll never sell. Now he's saying, "Oh yeah, well we're going to sell now and then." What if he sells 100,000 of them?
Well, the mechanism for payouts on those dividends is collapsing, right? And I think the stretch one was the most popular one. This is why they're selling Bitcoin to fulfill those payouts for those dividends. But there's others. So that complete mechanism that they have built to sustain those payouts, it totally collapsed. And the further this market dips, the more they're going to be in trouble. We already know that. So you remember that AK floor that the CEO was at? What was this? I think it's Lang. What's the strategy CEO? I forgot the guy's name. It's not Michael.
I forget too. Yeah, I know he's on. Yeah, because he stepped down.
Right. Well, he said AK would be the sell point. That's BS because they're already selling, and it has nothing to do with a liquidative effect. They're trying to honor dividends, bro. This is crazy. So, yeah, listen. I mean, your take on it, bro. I said enough on it. I think that's a bad deal.
Here's what it is. I mean, it's what I would be doing if I were them. I mean, granted, they're selling at a loss, but they have so much. And if he has such conviction that this is going to be there, which I do too, which I do believe this is just going to take this war and over, and then a Clarity Act. And then you watch, there'll be something else that they'll come up with.
Yeah, this, and then the geopolitics. They're threatening to close not only the Hormuz, but there's another strait they're going to block too as well. That wasn't baked in the cake, LMFG. And I always say this shit was not baked in the cake. So when you have all of these shortages that are going to hit in July, probably mid-June, when it comes to oil, that's going to affect the summer. And the summer is a huge retail, movement for, the service-based economy that we have here in the country. We're going to see a lot of bankruptcies if they don't wrap this up. We're going to see a lot of brick and mortar closing down. A lot of retail outlets are going to file bankruptcy. We already see it now. But going into the summer, if they don't, especially in the holiday season, we're talking November, December, early October, if retail doesn't come out in full force, it's a wrap. This whole country is going to change. So we're heading into realms of uncertainty right now across the board, and being that we are service based, a lot of the money that usually would go into stocks, a lot of 401k disbursements, crypto, it's either going to be liquidated, it's going to fall flat. It's going to be negative correlation. What's your take on that before we get into the last segment here? Because I think we got the job numbers coming up too. We already know that's going to be really bad.
Yeah. To me, I don't know. We'll see with the job numbers. I don't think it's going to be that bad because of a lot of stuff that's getting opened. Like I said, there's a couple factories here that just opened over the last couple months, and I think there's 2 more being built. So I don't know. I think we're going to see a push with job numbers, and it may just fall flat, or I don't know if it'll go below projections. But like you said, with the retail, and I realize there's a lot of companies out there. They have 4 months of billing that carries them for the year.
Yeah.
And that's from May to August, everybody's on vacation, everybody's down the shore and spending all the monies. And a lot of those restaurants, they can't stay open unless they have that huge influx in those 4 months, 5 months in the summer. And if that goes south, like you said, you're going to see a lot of companies go belly up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. Because we start hitting $5 of gas, and it goes worse than that. And then you said the shortages, so inflation's going to hit. People are going to be canceling their vacations. You're going to set up a tent in the backyard with the kids, and say, "Well, vacation."
You got this. You're going to have a tiny home epidemic. You got people really looking into those tiny homes right now. I mean, a lot of people are making moves. They're adjusting. And they're not buying stocks in crypto. And in fact, they're liquidating their 401ks, and they're looking for tiny homes. Or people are trying to figure it out, bro. And that affects buyership. That affects all the inflow. The institutions can only hold for so long. And you see that ETF outflow within 11 days, 3.45 billion LMFG. So we see the cracks that are forming, even in these asset managers. There's huge cracks here. That's a lot of ETF outflow. And then you have Sailor. That's just, you're throwing, Sailor selling a Bitcoin is like throwing jet fuel on a bonfire that's already raging. You know what I mean? It's already there. So Kevin O'Leary says some interesting things about picking the right blockchain. Did you see what he said here? I'm going to play this. He said this was captured on TikTok, but I actually saw the whole interview.
Yeah, I did see that.
He said some very interesting things about this. I'm going to play this, and then we'll get into the last segment. I thought it was interesting. Listen to what Kevin had to say.
And I've enjoyed a decent return, obviously. Markets came back after October 20th. And I captured over 97% of the upside, and all the rest of the stuff is kind of dead money. And so, but here's the big opportunity. And this one no one's cracked yet. And I think it's the next big thing in crypto.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so you talk to any S&P 500 company and ask them, and I do this all the time because I index for them with debt and equity. Are you planning to use blockchain technology to manage inventory, provide logistics, contract management, et cetera, et cetera? And they all say, 100% say yes. I say, really, which one? Well, we haven't decided yet. And I said, why haven't you decided? Well, there seems to be no standard. And there's a lot of debate. And there may be some legal issues, et cetera. So I think the next big thing in crypto is which of these chains is going to get at least one company in all 11 sectors of the S&P. Because the minute that occurs, you want to go long that token.
Yeah.
Because when you see, let's say, real estate, look at what consumers doing, and the directors talk to each other, say, well, we've gone with this blockchain. It's just software. But that's going to be a seminal moment. That's going to be a game changer. And I've got a whole team working on that. And so far, I haven't found it yet. Every time I talk to these foundations or the advocates for any of these blockchains, I get the same, ours is the best because, yada, 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 yada. And I say, what use cases do you have? Well, we've got gamers, or we've got NFTs, or it's all shit. And so it doesn't.
Yeah, LMFG. He's telling the truth.
Like it is. Telling it like it is.
No, I love the guy. When I saw this, I saw the whole thing. But this right here, it really captured a lot because he's telling the truth. There's a lot of shit out there. There's a lot of BS. He's right.
Matter. When you have an S&P 500 company with a multi-billion-dollar market cap using your blockchain, whether it be level 1, level 2, or whatever you want to call it, now you're a player. And that's going to be, the next big thing. And meanwhile, the poo-poo coins will just continue to go down in market cap and in volume. And look, they had their day in the sun, and it's over. Don't miss this.
No, he's right. He's right. LMFG, he told it like it is, brother. He told it like it is.
The poo-poo coins.
The poo-poo coins. We know what he's talking about.
Yeah, fart coin.
Now, I'm not even going to, listen, I made my share of money on the memes, but this was years ago. It's not the same game anymore. It's very dangerous right now. And pumped out fund that just completely torpedoed the whole market. So it's different. Solana's so quick. So You got to get in and out. It's a different game. So he's right. They had their time. Back when I was making money off of them, it was slower. It was on ETH and BNB. It was a very slow situation. You had a lot of marketing. It's not like that anymore. It's different. It's dangerous. It's a whole different game. So I'm more into infrastructure right now. I'm into what O'Leary just talked about. I got a few in my crosshairs that I know that are going to be leveraged. We've seen what happened with Chainlink, right? He's right. You go long on that shit, and it's not going to happen overnight. But S&P, and I always talk about brick and mortar leveraging. This is what he's talking about, right? And a lot of those S&P 5, these are brick and mortar. These are entities. These are actual build, infrastructure, physical infrastructure, businesses, institutions, manufacturers, GM, Ford. This is what he's talking about, leveraging this tech. LMFG, he hit it on the nail, bro. And this is what I'm currently looking for. I have 2 in the crosshairs that I've nailed. I'm looking for more because I'm not necessarily gonna play derivatives on it. I'm only invest. I want that long money, that institutional money. This is the perfect time to look for that. He's right. Your take, bro.
100%. And like I said, I've been saying since I read about this stuff now going 6 years, this is the future no matter what. It's the blockchain itself. I mean, all these regular coins and these meme coins and all that, useless. But once you get a chain that, like a chain link, you're going to be able to do all this cross-border stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to realize foreign exchange is coming into this as well. Your disaster recovery is tremendous. I'm going to keep saying that. I mean, I think you're going to see a lot of exodus out of the AWS and Azure and them. Unless you're spreading it out, and the big boys will spread it out. They'll have nodes on all 3, and maybe Google, and maybe even another one, and they'll be running chains on those colos. It's all co-locations that's pretty much what a AWS is. They're saying, it's a cloud storage. It's co-location. That's all.
Right. Cloud storage is the new buzzword. That's the new terminology. Right. But you're right.
And what we would do is actually just rent rack space in the telco hotels. We never used a Google Cloud. And granted, I retired in 2008, but I would just rent rack spaces, whether it be an MFS node or a Verizon or AT&T. And you go in and say, I need 2 19-inch spaces, or I need 6 spaces because I'm putting a router in, because I'm going to put 4 or 5 different circuits in there. All that shit goes away with blockchain. It doesn't go away, but you throttle it down tremendous.
Absolutely.
It's
overhead. Overhead is just it's gone.
Yeah. Yep. It's nice.
That's where it is, man. Yeah, he's right. O'Leary's right. Here's the thing. Are they able to do it? Are they able to say there are the NDAs involved there to where I don't think they're even this is what I'm trying to get out of my mouth because I'm so excited about this. And I think I've nailed 2. Will they actually announce it? Will there be NDAs involved to where a lot of these dev teams, a lot of these, the infrastructure, they're not going to be able to say, hey guys, this is who leveraged us. We've just been adopted by this giant. Buy. They can't do that, right? LMFG, they're not going to be able to do that. You have to do your due diligence. Like if you were in stocks, you have to do the work to find these particular opportunities. I could be wrong. What do you think? I don't think they're going to come out and tell us.
Well, company-wise, it's I'm not worried about the NDAs, SLAs.
Okay.
Service level agreements.
Okay, right? Tell us about it, bro. Yeah, because people need to know.
Right. So I have AT&T, MFS, MCI, Sprint, all of these different carriers coming in, and I would sign service level agreements with them. Mm-hmm. So I want 5 nines. That circuit's going to stay up 5 nines. And so now it's not as much as the circuits. They're going to still have SLAs with the circuits, but now they're going to have SLAs with these projects, whether it be Cardano Foundation, Polygon Foundation, XLM, Stellar. They're going to look for SLAs. So if that network goes down, you're getting kickbacks. They got to pay you. And after so many hours, they got to start paying you more. Because if you lose your network and you have 10, 15,000 people, and then you think about Walmart where they have 100,000, 150,000 people, they lose that network. whoever owns that company, meaning any of these projects, they're going to have to come up with the cash to handle that. So I just seen something from Helium, and they're just putting in a for service, and you're going to have to pay tiers to get that service. You got the free, you get a phone call, but then you go to premium, and then they'll say you can even call us, and we'll even give you more. So it's, and I think the one was at almost $3,000 a month.
Oh, wow.
You watch, you'll be at $10,000 a month. Yeah, just to have that service. So if something goes down, you make a phone call, and they give you, and it even says it, 4-hour response time, 2-hour response time. That's what companies are going to look for. And without that, they're not going to go over to blockchain. And I figured a lot of this would have been taken care of by now. It's just getting kicked down the road. It's not going to be until after the Clarity Act, and then you're going to see the consolidation, I think.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that. 100% with you on that. The DeFi thing, the risk when it comes to security, and again, security too. That blockchain's got to be secure. There has to be privacy protocols too as well within the ecosystem. That's a big thing too as well. But this cross-chain bridge hacking, we're still going through this, and this is not good because the banks are going to sink their teeth in this. This is going to be one of the greatest arguments or rebuttals when it comes to the banking argument against DeFi. There's huge risk of hacks when it comes to bridges, cross-chain security. It's sad that we're still talking about this, and a lot of devs, I guess they weren't ready for this type of adoption. But internally, we're still going through this. Let's talk about the bullish side of and we'll complete this segment here. The bullish, let's look at the green side of it, because the US did approve Bitcoin perpetual futures. Did you see that? The CFTC, they've been hard at work approving these Bitcoin perpetual futures blocks here, and it's going to include the one that's tied to the prediction markets as well. I think Kalash is a big one. I don't know about Polymarket, but I know this particular perpetual product was approved, and Kalash is going to be able to implement this across the board. Coinbase is expanding direct rupee payments. So we have that extended exposure to other currencies when it comes to payments with Coinbase. That was pretty huge. The Gemini enforcement case reversal. Did you catch that? They got that green light to go ahead and extinguish that particular pressure on Gemini. Because see, we've seen Gemini close down a lot overseas. Did you catch that?
Yeah, they shut everything down and said just American now. I think they're having a little problems. I do have one of those credit cards, and they still don't have it. It's pretty Mickey Mouse with the billing and stuff. You contact them, and people aren't going to do that. You look on the back of your MasterCard, no matter what company it's through, there's an 800 number, and somebody picks up when you call it.
Customer service is real. Yeah.
Have a nice day. You're going to have a hard time.
Well, it's like YouTube and Coinbase. It's horrible. The customer service is horrible. There's no human. I miss that. I miss those days. The way, you actually had a human being. But I know it's, the customer base is massive. It's way larger than it was in the 70s and 90s. These customer bases, with these entities are massive. So, but the outsourcing is crazy. Half of the time I can't even understand who I'm talking to, not shooting shots, right. But it is what it is. I get frustrated. I hang up on people and I call back and I still get the same. So I'm like, it's crazy.
Yes, I had an issue with Coinbase, and now they're actually using AI. So it comes up, and
it's a little better, the AI.
Yeah, but still, it was. So I tried moving, I don't know, $10,000-$15,000 from my buddy, and it comes up and says, "Oh, this looks like a scam." So it comes up to me,
AML.
I says, the guy spent over $300,000 on Coinbase, and then I told him, I said, spend all that money, and we've transferred to this address a half dozen times. What looks like a scam? And it's like, oh, come on up with, and I said, I think you need to delete yourself and be replaced by a new AI robot. And
what did it say?
It went on like that for 20 minutes, and I just kept repeating it and and changing the wording a little bit. And it finally gave up, and it said, okay, we're gonna put it through.
Damn, so you manipulated the algorithm.
Yeah, just jerking around with it, and it's so funny that. To me, it's not funny because that shouldn't have came up and it shouldn't have looked suspicious.
Well, yeah, I guess that is the bad thing.
That doesn't know, they see, they're going to cancel it. I do something wrong, I put in the wrong address or something, because it's scary. Because if you do put in the wrong address, your stuff's gone.
Yeah, you remember the guy that tricked the Grok into sending him. You remember that the guy hacked Grok? He didn't hack Grok, but he tricked Grok into sending him some money or something, or some crypto or whatever. I saw this story a couple of weeks ago. I think it's about maybe a month ago. It was all over X. I guess Grok has a wallet or whatever. Grok it has automated trading. I don't know. It was weird. I saw it on X. Well, this guy tricked Grok into sending an NFT or some shit. It was crazy, man. Apparently, you can do that to a lot of AI. It's not all there. It's not ready for prime time, as we always say. But it's implemented all across the board. It has taken people's jobs. It's crazy, man. So the Gemini thing was cool. That enforcement case was reversed. So I think maybe that's probably why they were so constrictive, bro, with a lot of their rollouts and that evolutionary pattern, that curve, kind of like hit a wall, because they didn't know if this is going to be reversed. And so, I mean, they got good news here. It's a green light here when it comes to the reversal of that and the regulatory thawing of that pressure on Gemini. So that was good. Stablecoin momentum, Genius Act, they're moving forward with final rules. So a lot of people thought the Genius Act was actually done. Well, there were some finalizations that were still, hanging on the clothesline, if you will. And they're finally moving forward with that. And we're talking tokenized assets, stable coins, the language that they're finalizing those rules. So, and this was passed in 2025 of MFG, but there were still some amendments that had to be implemented. So we're good there. We just need the Clarity Act, market structure, and then we're off to the races. And like O'Leary said, that your blockchain has to be ready. It has to be appetizing. You just heard O'Leary say it has to have these particular, attributes. And if not, you're done. You're toast, because there's nowhere else for you to go after language. If you don't have these necessary attributes that are going to be appetizing for brick and mortar for S&P 500 entities, you're done. That's pretty much what he said at LMFG. Do you agree? I mean, hopefully the devs are listening to O'Leary, because he's right.
100%, man. And that's why I say so many are going to disappear. And you'll see a lot of consolidation there with developers jumping in on other projects.
Yep.
So, and then remember, you're going to have everybody. I wouldn't doubt it if O'Leary's hiring a bunch of guys.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Where did the 8 guys from Ethereum go?
Yeah,
BlackRock.
Yeah, you're right.
JP Morgan, Fidelity.
That Ethereum shit is crazy. Yeah.
Maybe somebody at Michael Saylor. Tom Lee hired somebody,
Yeah, Tom Lee is crazy.
A lot of that.
That guy's nuts.
Yep.
Yeah, he's nuts. I saw Standard Charter did an evaluation on ETH's price points. I think it was 5-year. They're saying $40,000. I don't see that. Now, I know that's an outlook and that can go both ways, but to say that ETH is going to hit 40K in a 5-year period, when we just seen 8 core researchers and developers just leave, there's a lot of infighting. There's no really bona fide security protocol. Lots of L2s, some are trash, some are, I like Linea. That's it, because of that privacy embedded there, the ZK. That's the only L2 I like, but I mean, the $40,000 ETH. What do you? This is what Standard Charter is saying.
No, I can't see it. Not with its inflation and with all the competition coming. And I believe Buterin just put out a paper that he wants to change a whole bunch of things again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He completely rebooted the whole roadmap. It's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. So would it be another hard fork? I mean, who knows?
Let me see if I can get this. Let me see here. Check this out. $40,000 price target due to DeFi dominance. This is what they're saying. It's interesting. We'll briefly get into this. It's kind of relevant to what we're talking about. Standard Charter reaffirms 40K LMFG due to DeFi dominance. Now, we just looked at the TVL. Let me see what's going on with these TVL, because it is down. It is down, but across the board, every when it comes to the metrics, total value lot, DeFi across the board, we're down. ETH's still making money, but that dominance, I don't know, LMFG, especially with the shifting of the roadmap here. A lot of exploits still when it comes to DeFi. We didn't even get to Hyper. I wanted to get into Hyperliquid too as well, but I don't think we're gonna have time for that. LMFG, Check this out. When the dot-com bubble burst in 2001, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos defended the company's ailing stock price, contrasting it to a fall against improving metrics. Recently, that disparity has been reflected on Ethereum. So they're comparing Ethereum to 2001 dot-com bubble activity that Jeff Bezos was actually, dealing with. Amazon came back pretty strong. I don't think ETH's, I don't think 40K is in the crosshairs here, but let's just get into this because the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap, meanwhile, changed hands at $2,000, a 60% decline from August peaks of around $5,000. You guys remember that? The analysts noted that Bitcoin's compared, and we're going to compare it to the October all-time high of $126,000, has plunged 42%, roughly 72%, 68 currently. Standard Chartered believes that Ethereum's price has significantly scoped to catch up to its internal metrics, given that the asset's native network is expected to benefit from Wall Street's steady migration onto digital asset rails. So this is the catalyst to 40K, essentially. This is what Standard Chartered is saying. O'Leary did mention that Wall Street adoption is going to send a lot of these platforms skyrocketing. I don't know, LMFG. Ethereum's already dominating when it comes to markets of stablecoin activity and tokenization. They also said sectors that are set to see surging growth are as well. Now, the analysts reiterated that this year end's price is around 4K. I don't see it, bro. I just don't see it this year ending at 4K. Because again, geopolitically, none of that was baked into the cake. I think they need to reassess this and factor in these oil shortages, job numbers, economical numbers. I think this needs to be readjusted because I don't see ETH at 4K in December, brother. I just don't see it. Now, while also penciling in a 40K end of the decade price point, we'll leave it at that. I think I even seen 500,000 Bitcoin within I think what was it? Okay, yeah, 10-year intro here. So, LMFG, I think this needs to be readjusted. I'm sorry. What's your take on this before we get to the giveaway?
Yeah, I'd say that's crazy.
It's bonkers.
I don't see it. And a lot of these guys, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. I mean, because you can go back to last year, and I mean, you had Citi, Fitch, Moody's, all of these guys, they all downgraded Intel. And my buddy called me up and he says, I got some Intel, I'm going to dump it. I says, guy, it's going down to $30. Put the fucking house on it. Excuse the French. And
yeah,
and it shot up to what, $1.30?
Yeah, it sure did. Yeah.
And now it's still being beat up. And I'm like, I don't get it, because he's in bed with Elon now. So Elon's building that fabrication, the chip fabrication plant.
Right.
He jumps in bed with Intel. Why? I say because Intel's been working on that 1.4 nanometer chip now for years.
Yeah.
And I think it is TSMC is getting there, but we'll see. And now Nvidia just came out and signed up with Microsoft. So a lot of things are going to be changing there in that realm, I think. And I think you're going to see a lot of these companies taking the hell off, because the chip demand is going to go through the roof. Sorry to get off the topic on the Bitcoin, but
no, you're good. I was looking at tech stocks, man. And Max, if you have Marvel Technologies is up almost 30%. It's crazy. What's going on? But it's a circle jerk. It's a big time. Everybody's jerking each other off, giving each other money, and buying each other's product.
Well, they all went to GPUs, and you got these mining machines and everything GPU, but it's like, well, yeah, because you could use one CPU to run 8 GPUs. But now they're saying, you're going to need 4 CPUs to run 8 of them. One's going to run 2. You got to realize the GPUs are going to just get faster and faster.
Yeah, but they actually deteriorate faster too. You're talking about a 2-year run on a GPU, and then you got to buy another one. I mean, yeah, I'm not joking, bro. I mean, I've been dealing with GPUs for years. I used to build computers. I told you, I build computers, and I mine way. I'm an old miner, so I used to use racks of these things. A GPU ran hard 2-year period. It depends on how you cool it. You use liquid cooling, you may squeeze a little bit more out of it, but if you're air cooling these things, man, maybe less than a year, depending on how hard you're hashing. Okay. So in these ones that we're talking about, they run even harder They get hotter, right? So the rotation on these chips, I mean, you're spending so much money keeping these chips going because the actual lifespan is less than 2 years, you know?
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy. And one of these things go for $3,000 a pop or something, $4,000 a pop.
Oh, fuck. That NVIDIA chip is $20K, I think it is. The one
What?
Bro,
Are you kidding me?
I'm not joking, bro.
I had no idea.
Yeah, they're very expensive, bro. I'm talking the high-end ones that they're talking that's running these AIs and shit. You know, we're talking thousands of dollars, and they don't last very long. So it's great for NVIDIA, you know. They're gonna make a killing, you know. It's a circle jerk though, and you have shell companies involved here. I just read an article about the shell company between NVIDIA and I'm not even going to go there. Let me shut up because you know, but it exists. You know, these shell companies exist to hide these the monies and shit. It's crazy, man. I may even do a video about that. I don't know. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the giveaway. We got to give some Solana away. I got Tim in Dip Travel, I think it is. We got you on the wheel. We did a review on it. So we got everybody on the wheel, LMFG, and we're going to do this giveaway. We give away SOL every week when we do the show. And all you have to do is interact with the member content, become a member as well. Very cheap membership fee. It's not trying to get rich here. I just want, I want you guys to get involved with the content as well, because there's going to be an uptick, in this content. I have the AI trader video ready to go. I'm going to deploy that this week. I had to redo it because I wanted to add a couple of more because I wanted to show you guys that this is where we're going. AI trading, automated trading. A lot of the big boys, Wall Street, they've been using this since the 70s and 80s, but you have AI that's implanted now. So it's not like a set it and leave it and go to bed. You still have to monitor it, but we're going to get into that. I'm going to drop that video. It's really interesting. What has happened to trading, what is going to happen with investing, and how easy it is for a lot of people. This is what AI is doing. It's making it very easy for the layman to actually get in, actually trade crypto, not only crypto, but stocks as well, very easily using AI technology with these AI traders. We're going to drop that member video this week. So let's go ahead and get it. That was a good spin. It's like Melina Rupin. Very, very nice. Very nice. LMFG, do you use AI trader? Have you used an AI trader before?
No, I haven't. Not at all.
It's a little scary, man. It's a little scary. It's like riding a roller coaster.
Look into that and do that for him, and I told him no. Because if I screw up, and I don't want to be responsible. Because I got a lot of with the wallets I'm running for them. It's too much,
It's scary, bro.
Yeah, I don't I think about is that crazy robot that went nuts. Imagine if your AI program and you got $50,000 sitting there to trade or something.
I still have the video. I look at it, man. It still cracks me up. I mean, those guys are running away from that robot is hilarious, man. I mean, we're talking about a metal,
AI, baby.
Yeah. Once it gets pissed off, look out. That's a metal arm. It's a metal fist. That's not flesh and bone. It's gonna hurt. Melina Rupin, you are the first winner. Let's go ahead and get two more. Yeah, the AI trading, man, it's, I made a little money on it, but you got to watch it. You can't just set it and go to bed, There's filters involved. We'll get into it in that member video. So I think it's going to be Jay Thacker. I think, Jay, you won it, brother. The number 2 winner. Yeah, absolutely. So we got Rupin and Jay Thacker. Congratulations, Jay. Let's get another one. It's gonna be the last one. Let's see who we got. I think I'm gonna call Seth. No, I don't know. This is close. Sespesonia. Pysonia, I think it is. So we have a third winner. So let's go ahead and do a recap on the winners here. So we have Melina Rupin, 1930. Hand clap to you. Jay Thacker is going to be number 2, 3165. Hand clap to you, bro. And it says Pesonia. I think that's what it is. You are the last winner. All I need is a Soul Wallet. and we'll get those prizes to you. It's going to be Solana LMFG. What is your lasting take, brother, as we get out of here, man?
All right, just all good. Enjoy the weather. Be safe. Relax. Don't panic sell and lose all your money. If anything, DCA into your blue chips, and it is what it is. I mean, we'll get there. It's 100%. I keep telling everybody, like, oh, it's been so long, it went down so much. I'm saying DCA into blue chips, relax. Stake what you can. Get yield where you can, and leave it at that. And in other words, everybody, enjoy, be safe, rock and roll.
That's all we can do, man. You don't want to first sale out of the good things, especially out of what Oliver was saying. If you have infrastructure coins, tokenized asset ecosystems, you're holding some near Solana, Monad. I'm not going to dump on ETH. I still think it's relevant. 40K in the next 10 years. I don't know. $4,000 by December of this year. I don't know about that, but I will tell you, just be mindful of the infrastructure coins and tokens. DeFi is going through some struggles with security and breaching of the cross-chain, infrastructure. But I believe the devs are going to, there's some solid platforms out there. So I'm not too much worried about that. But with that being said, just stay vigilant and don't sell the good stuff. DCA. All right. Have a good one.